Recently, I've been learning a lot of interesting things about Hellcats and Scat Packs, Dodge Chargers and Dodge Challengers. And as some of you might know, I purchased. Okay, I'll put it like that. So I purchased Challenger Hellcat, and I'm still waiting for it. It should be here next week. And I've been becoming more and more concerned about, the safety, because you start watching videos on YouTube and it's pretty much like some guys are saying, well, basically every time you take your car out of the garage, there's a chance it will get stolen. So it's gotten really bad. And I just realized that a lot of this panic is created by YouTubers who just want to push some products that they get a percentage on. Like they have deals with security companies where, if you buy that little gadget from this guy, you'll get a 10% discount, but of course the guy gets a percentage from the provider of the said security measure. And so it's important to keep things in perspective. And I'll give you two facts, or actually what I learned, that in the past, since 2016, this is like data for 2021, for US only. So since 2016, between 2016 and 2021, the amount of Chargers and Challengers that was stolen is the staggering 6,000. So 6,000 cars, Chargers and Challengers, were stolen in the 5-year period between 2016 and 2021. And that's the number that's widely quoted by, by online panic mongers, that, man, like you cannot drive these cars. You cannot leave them on the street. 6,000 in 5 years. Now, it's a correct number. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, the total amount of cars stolen, including Chargers and Challengers, in this 5 years between 2016 and 2021 in the United States of America was 3.75 million. 3.75 million cars were stolen in the same period. And so 6,000 of them were Chargers and Challengers. Now, if we divide 6,000 by 3.75 million, that's 0.2%. So 0.2% is the bad fate for Chargers and Challengers. And so basically, shame on all these YouTubers that create panic and try to push all these little gadgets on unsuspecting public. But I was reading all this and, trying to come up with my own solutions, because there's still danger, just like with any other car. And like I said, I learned a lot because I was not aware what thieves were using with modern cars. And now I know how it's done, and so I know what I can do to protect my investment. But first off, I wanted to point out that Chargers are much more popular than Challengers. So a 4-door sedan is much more popular than a coupe 2-door Challenger. And I learned that the hard way on my own skin, because I owned the Challenger Scat Pack 392, and then I switched to Charger 5.7, so which is a cheaper car with a smaller engine, right? And I never had any issues with the Challenger. Nobody tried to break in, nobody tried to scrape out the window. But as soon as I got into the Charger, and especially after I ordered some stickers online, like V8, I put V8, and what else? I think I had another one. basically a couple of stickers that clearly said it's a V8 car. Because, you know, if you look from outside, not many people know. And actually my car, it didn't even say RT anywhere. Did it say RT? No, it said Daytona, right? And so not many people know what kind of engine these cars come with, right? But as soon as I put V8 logo on the side, somebody tried to break into my car, you know? And so I actually like Challengers better. They like look, to me, they like look more threatening, you know? So this time around, I decided to go again with the Challenger. But just as a point, I wanted to make that it's if you're concerned about theft, it's better to buy a Challenger as opposed to a Charger. Now, the couple of ways these guys steal modern cars that have fobs, right, or keyless entry. One is they use this black box to steal the RF signal of your key. Because, of course, most people, we just leave the keys, you know, somewhere in the garage or near the door when you're at home, or, you know, you go shopping, right? So, and your car, your key constantly emits that RF signal. And so this black box is a gadget that thieves use. They can capture that signal and they can immediately create kind of like a virtual key, right? So all they have to do is just they get that box, they put it on top of the car. So now they can open the door and they can start the car and they can drive it for, you know, short distance until the car shuts down, because it'll sense that there's no key, right? But they can still drive away, right? And so the first cheap way that you can protect yourself, and that's what I ordered, this little RF signal blocker pouch. It's like a little, you know, like a wallet where you put your key. It's 13 bucks Canadian, so 10 bucks US on Amazon. The cheapest way just to protect your key so that it cannot emit the RF signal. So, because that's the easiest way for thieves to get into your car. They don't have to break any windows. They don't have to, you know, try to put it in neutral. They don't have to tow it. They just duplicate your key with this black box, open the door, they drive away, right? And so that RF signal blocker pouch, I think it's the cheapest and very effective way to cover your butt, right? Now, the second way, if they cannot duplicate your key when you're walking around, when they walk around your house and they scan to see if there's any RF signal coming from your house, if they cannot do that, the second most popular way is they break a window, either the small window in the back, so it's cheaper for them to replace it, or if they don't care, they break the large window on the driver or passenger side, right? And they get under the glove compartment on the passenger side, and there's modules in there that they use another gadget. I forgot what it's called, but they use that gadget. They can hook up, and they can, if they have some blank fobs, some blank keys, once they connect in there under the glove box, they can duplicate your key. They can reprogram their own blank key with a new key, right? And then, of course, they can start the engine, drive away. And so how do you protect yourself from that? Well, until recently, before 2021, there was a solution where you had to go and you could buy a special piece of electronics with software that would block this reprogramming, so thieves would not be able to get in. And so that's probably second most popular way how they steal this. They break the window, open the right side, duplicate the key, create a new key, drive away. Third way, if they don't want to deal with that, they break a window and they lift the little plastic cover where you put pencils and, you know, lighters and whatever, your cigarettes, your phone. There's a little plastic cover right to the right of the gear shifter, right? And we're assuming we're talking about the automatic transmission. And so they lift that little plastic piece, and right underneath there's a lever with a ribbon that you pull, and it automatically puts the car into neutral, right? So two beefy guys, one is steering, the other guy is pushing. So middle of the night, 1 minute, they push the car away, you know, maybe call a couple of other fellows, you know, and just push it down the street and hide it somewhere. And so, somewhere online they were saying they keep it, usually they don't take it right away. They move it to kind of like a intermediary position, like somewhere like apartment building where there's lots of cars. They move it there and they leave it just in case somebody can is tracking the car. So they leave it for a couple of days to let the things cool down, and then they take it to the final destination, like, you know, the chop shop, you know, whatever, or sell it overseas. And again, that's one thing I was not aware of. I did not know that it's so easy to put this car into neutral, right? And it turns out there's a very simple solution. It costs like 40 bucks US. I just bought one online. So I bought that pouch. So the pouch is coming from Amazon, and this little steel plate. They can still break it, but in order to get rid of it, it'll take them half an hour. They'll have to open the transmission. It's a lot of work, right? But now, once you install that little piece of steel, when they lift that plastic piece, they cannot get to the neutral gear lever, right? Because there'll be a piece of steel. So they will have to basically work with the surrounding hardware to lift it, and then they can unscrew that plate. But it's much longer. So no more you can, you know, like before, it takes like 1 minute, break a window, flip that plastic part up, put it in neutral, push it away. Less than a minute, right? But once they see the steel, usually, of course, you know, the idea is that they want to steal it, they'll steal it. But if you make it difficult for them, they'll go to the next car, right? And so that's two things I learned. So I did not even know about these pouches that you can buy, and so I'm getting this RF pouch, and I'm getting the this steel plate. And I just watched a video where the guy is like, he's in a very, he's very sad. So he had all this. He had his pouch. So he had the software installed where they cannot clone keys, and he had all the kind of kill switches and stuff like that. And it's an enclosed garage in an apartment building with cameras, lights. 4 o'clock in the morning, two guys show up, and he shows the video in his movie, in his video. Like, he shows the garage video where two guys come over, they break the window, they don't care, they break the large window on the passenger side, and they start, you know, messing with those modules under the glove compartment, trying to make a duplicate key. They cannot make it. After like 2 or 3 minutes, they leave. Oh, and he also had that steel plate in neutral, so they cannot do anything. But they still broke the window, and he was showing how he moved the door, and you can hear the glass rattling inside, and everything is open over there under the glove box, you know, because of course they don't care. For them, it's all speed. They don't care if they break a couple of fasteners or whatever, pieces of plastic. They want to do it as fast as possible. And so I've been thinking about this, like, why would you bother? And the guy says he spent $1,500 on this software that prevents cloning of keys. But to me, it's funny, right? Because if I'm a thief, you know the problem with America and in Canada is and that's me as a freight broker talking, working from home, right? With all this, with this super modern studio, right? Monitors, IMAX. So as a freight broker, right? For me, the key is communication, right? So brokers get very upset when they're trying to get some information from a shipper or carrier, and the carrier disappears for 4 hours, which actually happened yesterday when I dispatched a guy who picked up a load for me in Washington, and now he's on the way to Texas. And I email him and I say, hey, like, are we all good? Like, did you load? So he never sent me an email saying, hey, arrived at shipper, like I used to do when I was a trucker. I would always send a message to the broker, arrived at shipper, loaded, leaving shipper, you know. And a friend of mine who's a broker, he says, you were super nice. When you were a carrier, you were very nice. He says, very few carriers do this. And I'm like, really? And so now this guy, my carrier, sends me a short message. He says, we are all set. And I quote, he says, we all set. Here's a few pictures. Boom, that's it. That's all the message. The entire message. And I'm like, wait a second. I look at the attachments. There's no attachments. The guy forgot to attach pictures. And then he says, we are all set. So what does that mean, right? That I'm guessing he means he was loaded, or so anyway, I text him, I call him, voicemail, I email him 3 times because the shipper is pushing me. Sergei, could you please send us some pictures of the trailer? 4 hours later, the carrier replies to my texting me, and he sends me pictures, and he says, sorry, there was no signal. And that never occurred to me, but yeah, that's a reality, right? So the guy has no signal, and I'm kind of like tearing my hair out here, like the guy disappeared. I don't even know if he picked up the trailer, the load. But anyway, so poor communication. And what I'm trying to say is that you spend $1,500 on an updated software, right, that prevents cloning. You install that steel plate that you know people will not be able to put into neutral, but why you keep it a secret, you know? Let's say I'm a thief, right? Why would I waste my time? Let's say there's 2 cars parked next to each other. So I know that one of them, I won't be able to create fob, a new fob. The guy invested money, that feature is blocked. And also I know that I won't be able to put that car into neutral even if I break the window. But now this other car, the doors are unlocked. The guy left the keys inside because he was drunk coming from the restaurant. The car is open, so which car will I take? The one where I need to break windows and then tear apart the interior? And I know that I won't be able to do anything unless I spend half an hour probably with doing some drilling and stuff like that, or I take this other car, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that I think a lot of car owners make a big secret out of these enhanced security measures where in fact they should be clearly visible. So if I do this, you know, if I create this where people, you know, where disable, you know, fob cloning, I would put a sign somewhere there, you know, like maybe just type a sheet of paper, put it on the dash, you know, attention thieves, FOB cloning is disabled, neutral gear access is locked, you know, just put it somewhere where the guy can see. The poor guy, you know, we're all very busy, right? Especially thieves, they're busy, right? It's a very stressful job. You have cameras, you have car owners that probably want to kill you, right? And so it's a lot of stress. So you want to make it easy for them, right? So make it easy for them to do the right decision, because it's just ridiculous. Like they still break your window, right? I was also looking into this what they call it, car lock, and then you read the reviews. All the reviews are 5-star. right? And then it says all the reviews were where the actual car was stolen. The car was stolen, but it was recovered. But half of the time it had broken windows, you know, damaged doors, you know, stuff like that. So I don't understand, like, so what's the point? Like, your car just, you know, just like I felt pretty much like violated when the thieves damaged my, you know, the rubber gaskets around the windows, and they tried to open the trunk for some reason. And, you know, it cost me probably almost $1,000 Canadian just for that little window to get rid of those, that bad rubber they damaged, and the scratches, and there were even some scratches on the bumper. So I think we have to communicate. We have to let the thieves know that this car is not as easy to steal as your neighbor's car, for example, right? And that's how all this YouTube content, you have to take it with a grain of salt. So like I mentioned before, so the risk is highly exaggerated. If you look at the whole picture of 3.75 million cars stolen in the last 5 years, and 6,000 of charges and challenges were stolen, so they exaggerate that. But another thing is that most of these videos are old. At least they are before 2021. And why the year 21 is important is that people were complaining to Dodge about all this, you know, and Dodge, Chrysler, or now Stellantis, right? They're in business of selling cars. So they were concerned, even though the numbers are not that bad. I'm talking about theft numbers, but they were concerned because, you know, like, why would I buy a car that I know will be stolen the next day, right? And especially like a Hellcat, you know, like a 70 grand US, 100,000 Canadian. And so in 2021, Chrysler Dodge came out with 3 enhancements to the security system in their cars, which for some reason nobody is talking about in the online community. I have not seen this on YouTube anywhere. But after 2021, and what's especially was a joy to me is that these features now are standard on 392 charges and challenges and Hellcats. So my Hellcat will have this. So 3 features. Feature number 1, it's called Enhanced Security Mode. It's there's a PIN number you have to enter. If you do not enter the PIN, or you enter it incorrectly, the car's output is limited to 3 horsepower. It's kind of like before they had a valet mode, right? So they modified this valet mode. So now it's called Enhanced Security Mode. And so I'm going to talk to the dealer when I'm picking up the car. I'm going to talk to the dealer, make sure that it's activated. So even if they have the key, even if they can clone your key, steal your key, or, you know, copy your RF signal and duplicate the key, they will not be able to drive away because it's only 3 horsepower, you know. So that's change number 1, which happened in 2021, and like I said, nobody's talking about this. Number 2, remember I mentioned the guy who spent $1,500 on software that prevents cloning? So guess what? Guess what Dodge did? So number 1, so out of these 3, was Enhanced Security Mode with a PIN number. Number 2 is called Key Programming Lockdown. So basically what they do is, if you're already an existing owner, they reflash your PCM. And what that does, that permanently locks down that feature. And of course the downside is that, let's say if you lose your keys or something down the road, they will have to replace the entire module, and they were saying it's like $500 US. That programming module, you know, it has to be replaced. But basically that's good news for me, like I don't care. But what you can do is, let's say the car comes with 2 keys normally, right? So you can ask the dealer to give you 2 more keys just in case. So now you have 4, and then lock it down. But now this feature is present in all new Hellcats and scat packs, right? So very important. So number one, enhanced, again, enhanced mode, 4-digit pin, 3 horsepower, number one. Number two, key programming lockdown, right? So now they won't be able to break a window and go under the glove box and reprogram their existing fob to start the car. Done. Number three is Intrusion Module, which is actually what that car lock is doing. It senses vibration. So let's say when they try to break the window, it senses glass breakage, movement inside the car. It senses when the vehicle is at an angle when they try to tow it. But I'm not a big fan of this, number three, because all it does, it sounds the alarm. It sounds the alarm, and everybody knows in order to disable the alarm, you open the hood. And of course, to open the hood, they can break the window. They break the window, they go to that lever, they open the hood, and they remove one of the fuses or relays right there. Takes like 10 seconds, right? No more. Alarm sounds no more. So that's not very promising. But key programming lockdown, I'm very happy about that. And enhanced security mode. And then I'm going to install the steel plate on top of a neutral. And definitely leave a piece of paper. Attention thieves, do not steal this car, you know, stuff like that. And also what Dodge is offering now, it's called Electronic Vehicle Tracking System. Now, of course, Chargers and Challengers, they have what's called OnStar Guardian system, kind of like what it came from GM, and it's available on Dodge cars. And I had it on the Charger. After that break-in attempt, I immediately activated. It was 6 months free trial subscription, and this thing can track your car. So if your car is stolen, you call the police, and OnStar can actually see it. They can see it because the car has the built-in GPS, so the chance of recovery is very high. But they will still break the windows, they will still damage your car, right? But as an upgrade from that, OnStar Guardian, now they're offering this Mopar EVTS, Electronic Vehicle Tracking System, which I think costs like $500 US to install. But this one is much more sophisticated than OnStar. And I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but either that one or OnStar, I'm definitely going to install one of these. But again, I think that the key is to let thieves know that your car will not be easy to steal. So you have to communicate that, right? So otherwise they'll just damage your car and rip apart your interior, and it's still very unpleasant, right? But again, so these are the three measures which are now standard on high-end Hellcats and scat packs. So enhanced security mode, so 3 horsepower only, key programming lockdown, and intrusion module, which is, you know, the enhanced alarm, right? So which will sound even if they're trying to break the glass. But again, I don't think it's that effective. But if you add the RF signal blocker pouch to this package and the neutral gear lockdown, I think we're in good hands, you know. So now I'm researching some old style devices like a steering wheel, you know, lockout bar, or even you know, like a boot on a wheel. Like there's some of them, you know, like $70 on Amazon. You can just quickly, you know, let's say if I leave the car outside, I can just carry that in my trunk, just lock the front wheel, and it's clearly visible. It's bright yellow, right? So a thief will definitely see that. So there's no way you can run with that boot installed on the wheel. So anyway, these are some thoughts that I thought I would share with people that either have or plan to have a Charger and Challenger. It's definitely a fun car, and the last thing anybody wants is for his or her cherished, American muscle automobile to be stolen or damaged. But again, from my experience, I can say that even when they don't steal the car, but broken windows and damaged seals, it's very frustrating. So I think we all should communicate to thieves. We should disclose that we have these measures in place, so they know they should not choose my car. They should choose somebody else's car. That's not as protected. And I'm shout out to Dodge for introducing these nice measures. I'm definitely talking to my dealer when I'm there to pick up the car, and I'm locking down the key, I'm enabling this key programming lockdown, and doing this other stuff I mentioned. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I hope everybody's having a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Ciao.